Hey there, viewers, it's Charlie. I'm back again with not a Transformers review, but rather my monthly Transformers collection update. And as you can see, my collection is updated greatly to the point where I have pretty much 5 shelves. Because I have 4 wall-mounted shelves, and this one which contains some cubby holes, but we'll get there when we get there. So, starting from top to bottom, here we have the figures that I have yet to review. My Generation 1 figures and my Generation 2 figures. Now, the only guys I've actually reviewed are Megatron and my GoBots. But going from left to right, here we have Menasor, who's made up of the Stunticons, which consist of Motormaster, Dragstrip, Dead End, and although you can't really see them that well, Breakdown and Wild Rider. Here I have Generation 2 Silverbolt. I would like to get the other Generation 2 aerial bots, but Slingshot is fragile as hell, if you know anything about the G2 aerial bots. Next up, I have Cyclonus. Sadly, I don't have Scud yet. Here I have GT Megatron. I've already reviewed him. Here I have G1 Galvatron, complete with his sound effects. I would do them, but I'm standing on a stool right now because my shelves are so high up and I'm afraid in case I fall, so you'll just have to take my word for it. He has his sound effects, and when I eventually get to review my G1 figures, I'll show that in his review. Next to Galvatron, I have his nemesis, Ronimus Prime, complete with his trailer. Here I have the Power Masters Double Dealer and Slapdash. Now, I have Double Dealer in his robot mode, or his Autobot mode, as it's a bit better than displaying him in his bird mode, because that takes up a bit too much space. But next to them, I have my GoBots, Psykill and Stax, my only super GoBots I have right now. And in front, I have my normal GoBots. I reviewed all these guys, so you should be used to them. Fightor, Buggyman, Slicks, Rescue, Cheaper Creeper, Spoons, Waterwalk, Flip Top, the Blue Variant Leader 1, Heatseeker, Stinger, and the Rock Lord Boulder. Yes, I have a transforming rock. I am not joking. But going down to the other shelf, or well, the second shelf, here I have my smaller G1 figures along with a few bonuses. So once again, going from left to right, here I have Sunstreaker and Mirage, who are actually unofficial reissues or knockoffs, but they still have a place in my collection. Here I have Prowl, Skids, Red Alert, and Inferno. These are all commemorative series reissues. Next up, I have Thrust. I don't display him with the cone head because, even though this is going to be controversial, I think the G1 cone heads actually look silly with the cone heads on. But just with the toys, the cartoon managed to streamline it and make them look way cooler. But the toys, the cone heads look rather doofy with the actual cone head, so I just leave that down. Plus, it was the official transformation. Next to Thrust, here I have Cup. Here I have Scoop with Hole Punch. Sadly, I don't have Tracer. Here I have Quick Mix with Boomer, and yes, that's his name, along with Ricochet. And here I have my latest G1 figure, Landfill, along with Silencer. I don't have Flintlock, and if you remember my previous collection videos, I actually got Silencer with Scoop, so I guess it all works out. Now next to Landfill, I have Landmine. So yeah, I have Landmine and his Pretender shell, and currently he's the only Pretender I have. Now going along, here I have the Insecticons Kickback and Bombshell. Sadly, I don't have Shrapnel yet. Here I have Topspin and Twin Twist. And here we have Runabout and Runamuck. And Flywheels. And in the very front, here we have Outback, Swerve, and Tailgate. And my 2 Micromaster squads. The Off-Road Patrol, with Powertrain, High Jump, Mudslinger, and Tote. The Race Car Patrol, with Road Handler, Freewheeler, Swindler, and Tailspin. And next to them, I have my Throttlebots, Goldbug, and Rollbar. Here I have the Triggercon Ruckus. And even though he's technically not a G1 figure, here I have RID 2001 Ironhide. I group it with my G1 and G2 figures because, well, this guy's actually a recolor of a Generation 2 GoBot. Not those GoBots, the G2 GoBots. He was originally named Motormouth, but he was recolored into this guy for Robots in the Skies, and they just named him Ironhide. I mean, sure. But that's all my G1 figures. Hopefully in the future, if I stop procrastinating, I'll get to reviewing them all soon. But now we get to the figures that were actually, well, I'll say that again. Here are the figures that I've actually reviewed. And I've managed to get off this stool I was using to show my G1 figures. So if I move that out of the way with my foot. Here we have my Armada figures, or my smaller Armada figures, and 2 Cybertron figures, and, well, 4, sorry. But here I have Smokescreen, sadly without his Minicon, Blur with Incinerator, the Minicons Scator, Broadside, and Fetch, who make up the Night Attack Minicon team, the Deluxe Optimus Prime with Overrun, Sideswipe with Nightbeat, and if you see his review, you'll know how much well, let's just say, I have a vendetta against this figure. Here we have Hoist with Refute. Separating the Autobots and Decepticons, it's Sideways. Sadly, I do have his Minicons, but they're broken, so I don't display them. But next to Sideways, I have Cyclonus with Crumple Zone, Thrust, and Inferno, or in this case, the Power Links recolor. And I like to call this guy Dirge, and I like to call this guy Grapple, because these colors are very similar to Dirge. And here we have my Cybertron figures. Thundercracker, Dirt Boss, Swindle, and Skids, or Clocker. This is actually the Japanese Galaxy Force release of Clocker named Skids. So yeah. Now, coming along to my 4th shelf, here I have my Energon figures, or well, my small Energon figures. Here I have Hotshot and Inferno, and in front of them I have Strong Arm. Next to Inferno, I have Ronimus and Prowl, or in this case, the recolor of Prowl that came with Checkpoint, who I don't have, although he's just a recolor of Ronimus. Here I have Downshift and Towline. Here I have the Deluxe Optimus Prime and Stormjet. And next to Stormjet, I have my 2 Deluxe Energon Decepticons, Starscream and Demolisher. So now we come along down to, well, my biggest shelf. This one has cubby holes, but I'll show you that once I show you the figures on this. So, once again, going from left to right, here we have the only figure that I will never review, ever. Magnaboss. Why do I not want to review him? I mean, aside from the fact that he's got a really complex combination, one of the components, Silverbolt, has that same brittle gold plastic issue that Slingshot had in Generation 2. But yeah, here I have Magnaboss, which is supposed to be made of Silverbolt, Prowl, and Ironhide. Here I have, one of the versions of RID Optimus Prime, Universe Blaster, and there's Block-Rock there in the background. Here I have the 2007 movie Mudflap figure, the smaller Energon Megatron figure, Constructicon Maximus, along with Steamhammer, Sledge, Duststorm, Wide Load, and Bone Crusher. Next up, here I have Cybertron Evac, missing his blades, sadly. Cybertron Quick Mix with Strip Mine, Combiner Wars Hotspot, Combiner Wars Ironhide, Power of the Prime's Dreadwind, Titans Return Astro Train, Armada Galvatron with Clench. Armada Skywarp. Sadly, I don't have Thunderclash as Minicon. And moving along, here I have Beast Wars Optimus Primal. Armada Scavenger with Rollbar. Armada Laserbeak. Titans Return Topspin and Blur. A figure of RAD Soundwave. I think this is a three-step figure. Beast Wars Megatron. 3 Creo figures. Nightbeat, who's actually supposed to be Punch. Scrapnel, who's supposed to be Shrapnel. And Fangwolf, who's supposed to be Cybertron Snarl. Now here, I have a duplicate version of Beast Wars Prowl from the Magnaboss set. The Prowl that I'm using for the Magnaboss thing didn't have his head, so yeah. Here I have the Titan Masters Brawn and Skytread, who's supposed to be Flywheels. Here I have Beast Wars Bone Crusher, Beast Wars Waspinator, and Cyberverse Megatron, the one that has that little mace gimmick, although the mace is broken off on my one. And coming along here, we can see a little secret bit. Here, I have Cybertron Starscream, and the GoBot suit Courageous. Now, I had to classify this as my big figures holder for now. I am wanting to rearrange my figures in a way so I can fit my bigger figures, because I'm planning on getting Energon Omega Supreme in the future, and I think he's going to be just as big as Starscream, so. But coming along to the cubby holes, well, it's a bit of a mess. Here I have some instructions for Psykill and the commemorative bot. The instructions for Sunstreaker, Mirage, Kickback, and Rodimus. And the tech specs for Mirage, Kickback, and the Off-Road Patrol. Now the other side, I have some Cyber Keys. I have an Earth Cyber Key, which I think came with either Thundercracker or Swindle. I have Quick Mix's Cyber Key, Blaster's Cyber Key, Mudflap Cyber Key, another Earth Cyber Key, which came with either Swindle or Thundercracker. I have Skids' or Clocker's Planet Key, and I have Starscream's Cyber Key. I mean, it's not a big collection, but if you remember, like, all the Cyber Keys from the different planets were pretty much the same, so I can still use this on Dirt Boss if I want to, and I can still use this on Evac, the Earth Key. But moving along, here I have some collector cards for Sideswipe, Thrust, Demolisher, Steamhammer, Towline, and Skids. And that Lego thing there, that's actually what I use to stand my phone up for when I'm doing reviews. So yeah, bit of behind the scenes there. And one thing I forgot to show is the cards for Hotspot, Topspin, Blur, Astro Train, and Dreadwind, as well as a huge card for Psykill. And moving along back, here we have the instructions for Bone Crusher, my Generations figures, and a whole gigantic pile of my Unicron Trilogy figure instructions. There is a lot there, so. Well, coming along to the underneath, here we have my boxes, and I'm actually going to pull these out for you. Here I have the boxes for my Commemorative Series box, along with Dreadwind's box and Courageous's box. Here I have the box for Sunstreaker. I know it looks pristine, but if you remember, I said that Sunstreaker's a KO, so yeah, this is a KO box. Here I have my Transformers comics. They're all Dreamwave. Pretty much, it's the Armada series up to Armada 6, along with the 4th G1 Dreamwave issue. Here I have the box for Astro Train. I have some of the Pack-In Armada and Energon comics. This box is for containing my broken figures, and you can see the remains of Rook there, one of Sideways' mini-cons. So these are either broken parts or parts I'm not using because they're for the vehicle mode. Here I have the box for a Steam Hammer. Here we have an ad for Omega Supreme, and that's from the box with the Optimus and Megatron 2-pack. And well, that's pretty much it. Well, that's pretty much it. And I just lost balance there, but this is my entire Transformers collection as of September 2020. Now, do you have any of these figures? Are there any figures that you actually want to have but currently don't have in your collection? Let me know in the comments. Or just don't comment at all. I don't really care. But yeah, this has been my Transformers collection as of September 2020. And this is Charlie Young, signing off.